motherboard covers motherboard covers on some of these computer companies I go to. They got these mother covers for your motherboard to make it look real nice. And I thought at the end of the day, it'd be kind of cool if you made one out of cardboard. Is it possible to do this? Can it be done? Can you make a cover, a cardboard, I mean motherboard cover using cardboard? Is it possible? So I'm about to find out. And these are the templates I'm cutting out so I can see exactly how would this fit from here to there. I do want them wide enough. I'm not going to remove the cover at will. That would be nice to remove it at will, so I wouldn't have to have it that wide because I can remove it if I want to. I'll bring this down a little bit more. Of course, this is going to be for a cardboard box case. Odd cars moving back and forth. What am I watching? System over here. Can't even see any of that there, can you? Of course you can't. Let's see if it more better. This would have been so much easier without the boxes. The boxes make it really much harder to do. I'm gonna start picking me up some heavy duty cardboard, which it would be much better to do and work with than the boxes, because boxes make it a little harder to do. But look at what we got. We get an idea, a blueprint in our head on how we want this done. put the graphic card in a little wider, just in case if I wanted to change out to a bigger graphic card. Those are pretty small, so just in case here. And then let's get a graphic card here. Find figure out the cable to go in here. Put that music playing in the back of this. Never good. Copyright music. And this power supply feed in there. And then we have the RAM. Should fit right about here, hopefully. Hopefully RAM fits there. I'm measuring it from this way to this way, so it's a real interesting. But just trial and error, see what we can do. See what we can, how we can figure it out. So this should be for the RAM. RAM. It's graphic card. Graphic card technically doesn't have to be, but it depends on how wide the card can be. The majority is going to fit out where. Okay, so the card slaps here, the flat part of it's here. The rest of the card sticks out here. So as long as we have enough that fits. Flats here, it fits out here. Technically, we can cut this a little thinner. This doesn't have to be that wide. The graphic card pulls out this way. So we're good. Just this right here. The graphic card fits flat. It needs a fan stick out here. This doesn't have to be that wide out. It doesn't interfere with that. And then, let's see, that flush to here. Hard part, trying to do the measurements from here to here. That's the hard part. So I think I'm going to start with, let me see. So the CPU first, and then we can get an estimate where everything else is going to fit. So let's see how many times we'll have to do this before we actually get it right. Curious. I want my thin blade. I'd rather have my thin blade. Let's see all my knives. Nothing's up here. No blades. No blades in there. Okay. Hopefully we get this right. Honestly, another easier way we could go about this is to mark the holes. Yeah, we would have been off. The holes are right here, here, and here for the liquid cooling system, so I would have been off. Let me see, where is that template at? I just had it in my hand. I just had a nice template Here we go. That would be a better way of doing it. So it would have been from here to here. So it would have been way over. Bottom half gets cut all the way out, so that's empty on the bottom. Alright, so that's there. Empty there. Okay, we'll figure it out from there. We're going to put this part out first. Yeah, we are from here. Like I said, much easier if I had built this from scratch. Alright, just want to get an idea of how we work with this. Get an idea how this is going to work. I guess we'll put it there. Yeah. So this will give plenty of room. Nice. Well, I know we get some people sit back and say, oh, that's a really dumb idea. You shouldn't do that. Yeah, these are my babies right here. This is all made out of cardboard. It's all cardboard PCs. Yep. Tire case, all that. All built out of PC. Screen, cardboard, cabinets, cardboard, bookcase, cardboard, desk for cardboard, and the screen we're going to put over there, which is going to be 178 inch with a built-in PC. This is a PC that's going inside. Yeah, all cardboard. Yep. Later on, if I get these the way I want to, because this is the model of it, I'll start 3D printing my own cases pretty soon. So before I got a buddy of mine who had a shop. So he'll be doing all the work and all that stuff for it. Now, for those people saying, well, what about cooling? I'm kind of good at cooling at the end of the day. I've kind of mastered cooling. I mean, that system over there has 4,000 RPMs on fans. Actually, sorry, 5,000 RPMs. So my liquid cooling system runs 10,000 RPMs. And somebody say, well, you don't need all that. Yes, you do. Regardless, CPUs generate a ton of heat. They all burn out. Whether you're running the big boys or the small boys, you still have to have some kind of better cooling system. And you need a liquid cooling system because I explained before that if you live in an area where you're going to have heat on, you're just going to basically suck heat out of your apartment or your home back into a PC that's already stressed out already. In the wintertime, you got the air conditioner on. You got constant cool air pushing through it. But in the winter months, when you have the heat on, you're sucking a heat right back into your system. So those things, having the refrigeration system on them, it's a peace of mind I never have to worry about. I can literally leave those things on all day. So that's why I favor liquid cooling systems. See, if we had built it, basically, with this base, the cardboard, the divider system wouldn't be here. Which next time I'm going to cut this out completely. What's the big heavy knife? That's good design. If you do more, cut more better. I wonder if this would disrupt anything. Well, it'd have to cover it. Would have to cover the board. The board would definitely be in the way. The board's not wide enough to accommodate the middle piece. Not at all, period. Not wide enough. I should have separated this, cut these off, glue these together. It would have been much easier to do. But like I said, this is all about trial and error. It's all learning experience. That's what it is. The next time, separate them. I wonder if it's too late to go in here and separate this right now. And then go in and basically do it that way, which I should have did it from the beginning that way. I wonder. I'll just bring this apart. Would have been a much easier way to do it. Was not thinking on that level, but next time we know, we do it that way instead. Separation here. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I should have definitely did it that way instead. Tabs off, I don't want to break anything. That's where I should have went at first. It made my job much easier. Ooh, it's a long piece. Trim that a little better. Definitely a lot better. Well, I said, would have been much easier if I had the boxes already. I could build them. This would have been much easier to do. But like I said, so look at what you got. Oh, nice. Be nice. Let's see. Right. I need just that on the table. Why do you keep things so fast? Where did I just put it up? Yeah, I mean, if I put drop screws in, each one will fit square, nice and even. All right, perfect. This one's actually done. So that means the screws are fitting there nicely. And this stuff is, I do this kind of stuff because, again, you know, you got people at the end of the day who build all types of stuff with PC modding. As again, I can't explain enough that builders and modders are two different things. Builders just build, modders pretty much just change the structure of anything they want. That's what we do. We don't like the graphic card, we don't like the fans, whatever, we change all that out. If you're old school and you grew up in the day where basically you did a lot of soldering at the end of the day, you change out your parts, transistors, fuses, all that stuff. Just change all that out. But, you know, that's the difference between the two. The other guy was coming on here, was getting quite nasty with me and wanted to basically say, "Oh, this, buddy, anyone can buy that stuff, man. Anyone can buy it. It's the building part, the modifications, all that stuff. That's the hard part, figuring all that stuff out. How to modify your liquid cooling system, all that stuff, to get it to work. One of the PCs I will be building for the setup is all completely liquid cooled. Building my own radiator system, and my reservoir is 1 gallon. The big board cooling system. I don't like using the stock fans because the stock fans are usually like 1500. I want to go higher than that, way higher than 1500. My radiator system is designed to take two 40 millimeter fans. It's a huge system I'm putting in. So it's pretty cool what I'm going to be working on. But I figure if I'm getting one of those, I'm going to modify the daylights out of it. So, different type of builder. Modders are different builders. You know, we look at something and go, that's got to change. Different type of builders at the end of the day. Alright, let me take this side out right here. I'm going to have to go on this one. Get this one ready. Now, for those of you saying, well, how's it going to stay cool? Look what cooling system's going on here. Look at cooling system keeps the CPU nice and cool. I'm going to drop a 120 millimeter fan on the side to suck any hot air out, which I don't think I'm going to have any issues with that. Now, insulation tape here, I do want to build my own cooling station for my liquid cooling system because I can actually insulate that with the insulation tape from there. Yeah, for those people saying, well, you want to, no, I do all this stuff for basically documenting all my work. All my work is documented. That's why I can always go back and check out my curved screens or anything else I build. So I put everything on record. So I document everything that I do. Later on, I'll come back to this and I'll start building, taking this from this blueprint, and we'll be 3D printing what we want, with neon lights and everything else in them. Alright, so this part is right here done. The other half. Fighting going on here. Alright, cool, I can see it. I can definitely see it. Okay. This gives other people that are in the field another way of doing it. Somebody may come up with a better idea than me and do it better. I got no problem with that. Someone can improve on the idea. Why not? Here. Oh, technically we don't have to cut the RAM off the RAM out. RAM doesn't have to be exposed because again it's a cover. Just to cover up the RAM. So we don't need to expose that. We just need to expose the CPU and for the graphic card. The RAM is good. Alright, cool. Because I don't have to do all that. Alright, this is fantastic here. We got that done. I'm going to cut out my front here and my side piece here. Because I can always take this off and put it back on anytime I want to. I'm putting in a magnetic system. It's not going to disrupt the board in any way whatsoever. It allows it to snap on and snap off anytime I want to get access to it. But I don't need to expose RAM because RAM doesn't need to be exposed at all, period. I am going to put heat spreader, copper heat spreaders on my RAM anyway, so this will make a difference. All right, let me see. Next stage we want to work on is the graphic card. I'm going to put the thin blade for this. Let's see. This is from here to here. So there to there. So this is one slice with an opening in here. Can we just cut this? Would it be easier if we just this thing? Can't really do anything. That makes my job much easier. Rebuild this structure here. Some glue. Now for rough edges around here, very easy to do. Take some hose, slice it, place it around here and here, glue it in, done. Ours is going to glow in the dark, so I'm going to trim this off nicely. There we go. Let's tighten it a little bit. That's better. Should have trimmed it from that side. It would have been much easier to do. Right, that's that section there. Let me see. Here. Let's see. What's this over here? I almost cut the wrong side. On this side. Over here. Ooh, come back here. Almost got the wrong side. Thank you, Lord. Hopefully get this in here nicely. Be nice. Right in here a little bit. We'll get it done. Some people might say it now, well, just buy it. Nah, I'd rather build it in my hands. Because it's an experience, that means at the end of the day I learned something new. It's easier to buy stuff. It's harder to build it. That's why I used to love going to Home Depot and watch all these people coming in and out with all those different projects and things they're building and putting together. Nation of builders. Okay. Got that part done. Now strengthen it, definitely, because we don't want the buckle when it's painted. So we're going to go back over all of this again, trace everything out all over again, to put a shell over top of it, so that way it's a lot more sturdier. A much more sturdier shell. And let me see, now we got to cut out for the peripherals. Let me plug it into here. I'm going to take a blade to this, but I don't know. Take a blade to that. I don't want to cut a finger off. Knives are sharp. That's better. And plug my stuff up into it. Section for peripherals. This side here. I was watching some weird movie about a giant crane. A bird, a giant black crane. It's on this trail. And it was killing hikers. Like, wow. So there's this hiking trip where people would just go hiking, and they go from one camp to the next, like one cabin to the next. They would meet up and stuff like that. Hikers. I don't understand. Why don't you carry any protection on you when you're out in the woods? You know, you're out there by yourself. Even if you're with a group, you're out there by yourself. You don't carry anything on you? Look, I'm a Christian at the end of the day, but I still carry on me. I definitely would be carrying something on me. Now, I know some people who do carry on them. But I definitely would. In a heartbeat, yes. This man, they're talking about a giant bird in the wood kills people. That would have been food at the end of the day. If it was basically the last of its kind, it was definitely the last of its kind. If it runs across my path at the end of the day, I'm taking it out. There's no way in the world I'm going out like that. Being hunted by a bird, I gotta fight that thing with my bare hands. That's why you carry the boomstick. Like, you know, the Evil Dead, the boomstick, carry a boomstick on you. People are weird, man. You gotta be careful. And God knows you run into that in the middle of the woods, man. You better be carrying something. That would have been the shortest movie ever. Anytime me and my people go camping, we carry firearms with us. You never know what the heck's gonna walk up on your camp in the middle of the night. You don't know that. Yep, you put up that nice little electric fence up there. They got camping portable electric fences for bears. They come creeping up on your property. But anyway, well, it's their property technically, but you're out there camping. But still, I'm just thinking like, there's one I saw where a person was on the trail and he got entangled with a bobcat. Bobcat walked up on the trail. And a good thing the bobcat wasn't hungry. He was able to scare it off. But y'all don't carry anything on you? Are you kidding me? Oh, heck no. You ain't got to carry anything gigantuous, but at least have something on you just in case. In your mind, you're out in the woods. You got to remember that part. You are literally out in the woods. There can be anyone out there, that poor family. That guy stabbed to death the mother and father because they ran across some weirdo. You don't go out there with no freaking. What do you? Too relaxed. Way too relaxed. Way too relaxed. Way too relaxed. Yep. There's nowhere in the world I'd be out in the woods without a firearm on me. You crazy? Gee, whiz Louise. You never know what's going to run up on your path, whatever. You don't know that. But I watched that movie where those people all got killed by a giant bird. I think only one guy got out alive. He's the only one who survived it. He got jacked up, but he did survive it. Man, that'd have been the shortest story ever. I think when it came on that cabin, he'd had more gunfire in his direction than Predator. There's no way in the world that would have ever went down. Me running through the wood? No. Oh, heck no. Anytime we go camping, you go camp with my family, you'll see a lot of black cases being pulled off a truck. A lot of them. They carry their stuff when they go with them. You'll see drones, all that stuff. They treat every area that they go into like it's a war zone. They literally do. They send out scouts, all that stuff. They don't play around. You know? People are like, oh, that's taking it too. No, it ain't. You meet anybody in the military, they always carry, 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 they always carry. Yep, they learn to be prepared, better safe than sorry. People be out there in the woods and you don't have no kind of protection on you whatsoever, or just scared off the bat. Oh, heck no. No way in the world. And people say, no, but Christians hunt. They do the same thing, hunt and all that stuff like that. They're Christian hunters and all that stuff. Yes, they do. But again, at the end of the day, if I have to defend myself and I'm in a situation where my life is in danger, I have to use my firearm. I'm using my firearm. I'm going to protect myself. I'm not going to be eaten by an animal, for goodness sakes. What the freak is going on with that one at the end of the day? I'm coming back with a fur coat. There's no way in the world. I'm going to let some bear or something eat me at the end of the day. I ain't going out like that. No way in the world. Smokey just be his last day on this planet because he's going. It's not going to be me. And you got people out there, animal. Oh, that's just wrong. Yeah, okay, how about this? How about we cover you in steak sauce and have you walk through a line exhibit and let's see how many tigers you want to hug at the end of the day. Yeah, ain't gonna go well. No, there's no way in the world I'd be caught out in some situation like that whatsoever. That's madness. Oh, I know people like that at the end of the day. Like, I can't imagine pulling the trigger and taking, well, you know, bear on the other hand, don't care, because he's hungry, he's gonna eat you. That's what's gonna happen. Bobcat or anything else you run across out there is going to probably eat you. So, you know, it's you or him. I'm looking at the end of the day, I got beef jerky and a fur coat. That's how I see it. Now, if I'm able to use an air horn or something to scare it off, I don't have to go to those tactics. I'll go down that road any day of the week. I got no problem with that. Bear mace? Yeah, I got no problem with that. But, and you know, Smokey don't want to back down, then Smokey's going to get eaten because I'm going to eat Smokey. And I've had bear meat before. It's pretty good. So, that's about the end of that. Yeah. Got that nonsense. Yeah, if I'm camping, I'm definitely carrying something on me. At least bear mace, for God's sake. So you don't want to carry a gun. At least carry bear mace on you or something. Something. You don't never know. And then you're trusting other people out there on the trail with you. Like Mike, Sarah, and Jack. Jack could be a serial killer. You don't know that. I don't know how people do this stuff. Like, they all get together. I mean, these are strangers. I'd rather camp around people I freaking know at the end of the day. But they came around a bunch of strangers. That's what I found interesting about the whole movie, how they all get together and they camp on this. They don't even know each other. And they all share a cabin together. There is no way in the world sharing a cabin with these strangers. There's no way it's going to happen. We're all out in the open area, and I got to go to sleep around these guys at the end of the day? Nah, we're not doing that. No. No. We're not doing that. See, that's the reason why people go missing and end up on boxes of milk. That's why. Y'all do too much at the end of the day. There's no way in the world. You know where Ken's going to be? Ken's going to be up in a tree somewhere. That's where I'm going to be at. Covered in camo. That's where I'm going to be at. It's electric fence around a tree. So nothing climbs there and tries to eat me in the process. I keep my 8-inch buck knife by my side, bear mace, and right on the side of the tree, I have my AA-12. So go ahead, more than welcome to climb up, and I'll take you out. But there's no way in the world I'm going to let a bear eat me. And it's not going to happen at all, period. I'm like, where'd you get the fur coat from? Ah, man, you wouldn't believe the stories I got to tell you at the end of the day. When you bear jerky? Yeah, there's no way in the world. But that whole thing about them all meeting up together and whatever, people are like, well, you gotta have trust. Yeah, no. I only go out, when I go camping, deep out in the woods, where basically you need GPS to track exactly where you're at from some satellite uplink to figure out exactly where you're at. I go with people I know, people I trust. I'm not going with some random stranger, some freaking tent, or some freaking outdoor experience. No, we don't do that. Nope. But eventually, the giant bird ate all of them except for one. He gave the only one that got away. And it's funny and it's weird because he was the only one that kept seeing it. The rest of them never see it. He kept seeing this shadow-like figure that was stalking him the whole entire time. But he was the only one seeing it for some strange reason. And he's the only one that survived it. But he was the weakest one out of the group, but he survived it. The rest of them, bird food. Well, not bird food. No. The bird's still alive, yeah. Because he found eggs. He found eggs out in the woods. These huge, massive eggs. So basically, there's going to be more of them. But yeah, he survived it. I think he killed the other bird. I think what he thought didn't die. Because when one of them did attack him, I think there's two of them. I think there's a male and female. But it's a pretty good story. It really was. I just baffled at the fact that people just don't carry anything on them when they're out there. Well, yeah, the one guy did. It was African American and a white woman. They were from Australia. They were married. He had a blade on him. That's about as far as it goes. Why didn't he just use a blade when he's being attacked by the birds? Well, why didn't he get the blade from him? Never mind, forget it. That's just thinking too much into the story. But anyway, so carry boom boom stick. Carry boom boom stick. You can solve problems with the boom boom stick out in the woods with animals that want to eat you. Boom boom stick. Just make sure your stuff is licensed and legit. That's all you got to do. Yes, boom boom stick. Fixing problems for years to come. Sellers would have never made it. They didn't have a boom boom stick. I think I'm going to bring it over a little bit more. Let me see. Let me stand up. Alright, so here and here fits, but I want it to fit a little bit more here. I want more exposure here with the card here. So we're going to cut a little bit more on this right here. Yeah, that's crazy. That's all. Like, what the freak? People, we're not carrying anything on us? What the freak? Seriously? I can see right now, man. Jason, we know he's in mortality, but if he would have walked up on the camp where my people are at, oh, that'd have been his last day right there. I can see him right now going back and telling the other one that they're like, nah, man, you might not want to skip these guys at the end of the day. I think I saw explosives. Yeah. Oh, that came out nice. Yes. Last time he went, 12 cases. 12 black cases. And basically, if you don't know, they're customized firearms they bring out. Retina scans and hand scans. These things are crazy. These cases they got at the end of the day. But that's what they call their toys. You know, black boxes that come out. But anyway, yeah. Some interesting stuff. Well, they have the right to have them. At the end of the day, they fought in a war that you would probably never even think of even trying to fight. They have a right to carry whatever freak they want. That's what I feel at the end of the day. You went over there and you did what you had to do, you carry whatever freak you want. I was shocked on that plastic gun. I still can't remember. That thing was actually incredible. That's why they have such a restriction on these 3D printers. Those things are pretty crazy, but she's got hers as military issues, so she's good. One of the guys I was there with, he's actually Navy. He had a gun that fires underwater. I thought that was freaking insane. Yep, another cool guy I bumped into. Always meeting some cool people at the end of the day. Meet some real nice people. That's to always meet some really nice people. Make sure that fits in there correctly. Let me see. Now the screws aren't going to come up this high. Screws are going to lay flat here. It's a liquid cooling system that you're going to read about right there. The screws are going to lay flat. Screws are only about that high in liquid cooling system. They're nowhere near here at all, period. That's another thing I have to remind myself. But they're not going to be way up here. They're flat. It's the cooling system that comes through here. That's what's going to reach through here. So honestly, I would like to cut this a little farther out. The cooling system's going to be here. The screws lay flat. Even the bridge system doesn't even reach that high. It doesn't even come up anywhere near this high at all, period. So I do want to trim this up a little bit more. So it goes a little bit higher up. And we're doing a fan system, the copper core system. I'd have built it differently, but we're using liquid cooling. We really don't have to worry about, as long as the screws are never going to reach that height, which they're not. And I'm not worried about the. Come on, be nice, get in there. What are you fighting on here? That you're fighting on something here. Something's fighting me. There we go. Fighting me a little bit there, but good. Alright. So we got enough room right here for the graphic card here, because it extends. So this is going to lock onto the top of the box. We have the liquid cooling system, which is going to fit in here nicely. This is going to allow the block system to feed right through here with no problem. The RAM is right here, but you're not worried about the RAM overheating at all, period, because we're not going to have the problem. We'll put some heat spreaders on that. We're going to put a fan here. I can do 80 millimeter or I can do 120 millimeter. I think I'll go to 120 millimeter fan, which I'm going to do 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs. So once something's going to be beastly. DC fan system. I have, this is the one that doesn't work. Where is my other pen at? Just kind of keep it for me. Now for those of you who haven't seen that, this is right, I have right here. That is my hard drive there, and that's running a 5,000 RPM fan that's sucking hot air out of that baby. That thing is nice and cold. These are all 5,000 RPM fans. The motherboard couldn't take the wattage. The motherboard had an issue. I love this setup right here. I love this. I love this. This is my greenhouse, my nuclear jungle PC. Pretty soon I'm going to be installing in my butterflies and some large bees. I saw some huge spiders, but I don't want to put spiders in there. I'm going to put some beautiful butterflies in here. But this is the one that actually glows in the dark and has the thundercloud system that triggers off. For those who are trying to figure out, like, okay, so how is he running cotton in there to give off static? That static free that you spray on your clothes to keep your clothes from wrinkling up, you got to make sure you saturate that cotton in there. It doesn't give off any form of static whatsoever. That's how you eliminate that problem. Now, big question. Where in Sam Hill did we do with the freaking... Oh, there's the ink pen. Sheesh. Crack of that thing. And I can drop an RGB on this. There we go. Nice little fan system right here. Got peripherals, power supply, SATA outputs. Now our SATA outputs, want to get the ones that are flat. So you run and they lay flat on top. On this side right here, we're going to run extenders here. So we can connect everything right there. Those extenders are going to feed right back into the box. The PC that we're building, it's going to be all black. It's going to have some cartoon designs on it. I want everything to blend it real nicely. We're going to buy a Dell system with already preloaded hard drive, but we're going to strip out the motherboard and rebuild the motherboard. Actually put this motherboard, another more motherboard. This one instead, we're going to get rid of the Dell board and put that board. And that's how these were designed. These actually were Dell parts, and actually took out the motherboard and put my own motherboard in there. Just a cut, turn around. I think I should have did this first. Let's see all the cutting you did on here. And it has to have a cooling system. It has to have some kind of fan in here. If you only get a finger. I'm really not trying to go to the hospital tonight. I got things to do. You know how crazy it is when you're so busy, you don't even have time to go to the hospital. I'm trying to go to the hospital, got crap to do. Using the tip of the knife so it's cutting nicely. Slow and steady. Like I said, we're going to do a magnetic system on here. It won't affect the motherboard in any way. And allow this to snap right on top of the box system. The box system where this sits underneath of, this is going to be raised up, and there's going to be another fan underneath that one to cool air underneath the motherboard as air is pushing down on top of the motherboard. At the same time, the liquid cooling system is pulling up the CPU. Oh, yes. I love cooling, man. Well, cooling is one of my favorite things to do. I love to cool. Now we're going to do something different with this one. We're going to build a nice box system around each fan, and we're going to be using the insulation around those fans. This is actually used for cooling down your house or heating up your house either way. If you have a system you're running fans in there, it cools. If you have something running hot in there, it heats up. So be careful you stick that thing at. Again, if your fans are getting off heat, it's going to actually multiply that heat. Keep them fans nice and cool. Put them up on a maybe touchscreen fan controller. And go from there. What do we got going on here? What am I hitting? Something that's causing my blade not to... Okay. Wiggle that blade a little bit. A little resistance going on there. There we go. Nice little fan for 120 millimeter. On top of that, that's good to go. Let me see what we got. 120 millimeter. What we got here. Yep. 120 millimeter fan. Kadoosh. Just like that. Boom. I'll push all that air into the board. Watch you suck air out of the board. That's what you want to do. Cool. Alright. Let's see what we gotta do now. We need to put a bridge in. Let me see. We have to put a bridge in there. The motherboard's gonna sit here, right? Let me see. So bridge will be there. See where bridge is going to be at right there. That's where bridge is going to be at. Bridge should be right here. Off camera, because this is a tedious job, I'm going to have to go over all of this and basically double ply everything on here so it has a more sturdier build to it. Pretty much should be pretty, it's going to be a tedious job, probably a lot of smart parts in there. Let me see this. And if it all works out, I can make all different types of these boards at the end of the day, covers at the end of the day, and how I want to design them. Who knows? Like I said, somebody watching this going, hey, I got a great idea, I'm going to try it. Hey, that's fantastic. I really would like to see somebody make something better. Because again, like I said, at the end of the day, we all learn from each other. That's why I said, instead of tearing people down, work on basically designing something nice that we all can learn from. You know what I mean? And tearing somebody down all the time. Which is sad, because I see people like that all the time on YouTube, just in there tearing people down. God doesn't like ugly, by the way. So much more positive on building everybody up. Make sure that's fitting nice and flush there. Trim that before I start cutting away at it. Nope, still rise up a little too high. That's better. That's what we do. We learn from each other. That's what we do. Better to build people up than to tear them down. Now, if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, then you deserve what you're going to be getting. Because again, you shouldn't be stealing. Or anything else you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be doing any of that. Got a nice little piece we put here. So that way we can have a little sturdy. And we can put a little magnetic strip there. So the board there and there. Alright. What do you think, Taco? Taco says, looks great, Daddy. Thank you, Taco. Thank you, Taco. 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 What do you want for dinner? Tacos! I think I'm going to do this real quick on camera. What you snacking on over there, Taco? You snacking on? I'm snacking on what I'm snacking on. What you snacking on? Oh, bloody. Okay. That piece done. Just gonna get this one done. We were watching cartoons, huh? It's funny how you can be walking down the street and a smell can take you back to something that happened from your childhood. But you would have never thought about it. In a million years it would have never came up in your head. Just a simple smell can activate a reoccurring memory. Find that interesting about the brain. I like going to that park where people go out there and they work out. There's another guy who goes out there, he meditates. It's a real nice park. And as you see, Allentown doesn't play around. The police cameras are everywhere. Yep, them things are everywhere. And the people in Allentown are so nice. Once in a while you bump some jerks at them. They go on the bikes, you can hurt somebody with that. And they should ban those things. They should ban bikes on the sidewalk. The only ones that should be on the sidewalk with a bike is a kid. I know you're an adult. You have no business being on a sidewalk with a bike. No way in the world you should be on a bike, on a sidewalk, a grown person. Take it out in the street. That's where you should be at. What the freak are you doing on the sidewalk anyway? Take it out in the street. A child, on the other hand, should be on a sidewalk. You're an adult with an electric bike flying down a busy. I don't even know how they're getting away with that. Because if you did that crap in any other city, they'd have fined the daylights out of you. There's certain places in Philadelphia you're not supposed to be in there with a skateboard or a bike or whatever. They'll fine you $300 for just being in a section. There's one on the street. It's an area that's off limit to any skateboarders or bikers, whatever. They catch you over there, you're in a lot of trouble. They will find the daylights out of you for being over there. But you're a grown adult. What the freak are you doing on the sidewalk? Now, if you're an elderly person, I can see about that. An elderly person's not traveling at freaking 50, 60 miles an hour down a busy area that they can potentially smack or hit somebody. And then you're not making any noise when you're going past them. Things don't make any noise at all. No whistle, nothing. On your left, on your right, nothing. You're going to mess and get a lawsuit in your hands. A lot of people can't handle $50,000 lawsuits, $60,000 lawsuits. They get riots up. If a person gets hurt bad, now if you look at a $100,000 lawsuit staring you in the face, and then potentially jail time. There's cameras, literally that whole strip has cameras in it. So, you know, I think if you're an adult, you have no business being on a sidewalk with an electric bike. Why? You need to be on there. Right, you got people zipping up and down on them things left and right. And they should make it now. At the end of the day, they should pass a law that if you're caught with an electric bike on the sidewalk, that's a $300 fine. I think you make the fine stiff enough, people won't go near it. They won't do dumb stuff at the end of the day. $300 fine, because you're going to kill somebody one day. What if you're out there with your kids and your kids straight and bam, hits one of those bikes? Come on, man. Too much. You're not supposed to be on the sidewalk if you got a freaking bike. You're a grown man, grown women, take it out in the street. If you're too scared to be out in the street with a bike, being a grown man, don't be on one. Don't get on it. That's all. You're going to hurt somebody. Now, they just passed a law in Philadelphia that those masks that you see the kids wearing, the ones they look they're about to do some freaking Cobra mission or whatever, the ones that come around the face, they're banned. They're banned in whatchamacallit, in Philly. Banned in Philly. If you're caught with it, then they'll find the daylights out of you for it. You know, Junior, if he decides he's gonna wear one of them, Junior's gonna get a job. Junior's gonna pay me my $300 back. And you just gonna work for me, Junior. That's all to it. Cause then you know you ain't got $300 on you. Guess who's gonna come out of me? It's gonna come out of my pocket. Come out of my pocket, it's gonna come out of your pocket, or you're behind one way or another. So for the next Christmas on, you owe me. Which means you won't get jack. For birthday, Christmas, graduation, I don't care what it is. You owe me $300. Until the debt is paid off, this is when we start learning responsibility at the end of the day. I'm going to pay them debts off. You have to figure out some way to get that money. Get yourself an old job, and guess where that check's going at? Pay me off. That's one thing I see more, that parents are more, so not all parents, got some people got them parents at the end of the day, great lose your parents at the end of the day. I feel sorry for you. Well, you knew you was going to get it at the end of the day. Well, you know, and I've met people who are real open and lenient with their kids, or they're little adults. They have to make their own decisions, whatever. I couldn't stand watching that show called The Nanny. I think that's what it was, The Nanny. A woman came in and she helped people with kids they couldn't even control. Are you kidding me? That one little boy that got up and jumped on top of the freaking table and knocked stuff over and screamed at his mom and all that and struck her and hit her. And she said to her, no, we don't do that, no. That wouldn't have been no talk in my house. And people say, oh, but that's child abuse. No, it ain't child abuse. So the Bible speaks about whipping your kids behind at the end of the day. Shoot, I'm an uncle multiple times. None of my nieces and nephews dare even basically jump on me, play with me in that kind of character way. None of them do. They walk up to me, they extend their hand, I shake their hand, and that's the end of it right there. They don't jump into that nonsense, they jump in the rest. No, we don't do that. No, period. The respect barrier there. All that jumping up and down and screaming because you want your way at the end of the day. Yeah, you don't get your behind worn out for that one. Ugh. So, well, nice knowing you. You about to get jacked up. You know? But I knew some people like that. They had a little girl, and she didn't get what she wanted. Boy, she had these tantrums. And she'd be screaming and yelling all over the floor and knocking stuff over in the store. And she didn't get what she wanted. And the mother would just be sitting there bribing her, talking about, next time we go out, I'll get you 2 boxes. Next time. And you know, 2 boxes. No, she mind. Nope. No, there will be no 2 boxes. There'll be no boxes at all. You ain't getting jacked now. Go home. You get home, you ain't getting this. You ain't getting that, you ain't getting nothing. And you're getting your butt kicked. Definitely getting your butt kicked. I'll tell you one thing, that whole not being to beat your kids in public, man, I feel sorry for you when they sit there and say, wait till we get home. You don't get it 10 times worse. You know that, right? You're going to get it 10 times worse. Better you got out in public because there's witnesses that saw the whole thing go down. And you basically, at the end of the day, got to wait till you get home. You know that's going to be jacked up. I don't know. My mom didn't slide with that nonsense at the end of the day. She didn't have it. You didn't get away with that kind of nonsense. I remember one time I dated this female, and I'll never forget, they spent $300-$400 on food. I watch them. $300-$400 on food. All this food they spend. Put it in the refrigerator. Kids come downstairs, spend 3 hours standing in the refrigerator, wasting electricity. Trying to figure out what they want to eat. Ain't nothing here to eat. Can we go order something? Go order some food after you just got finished spending money for it, and you wonder why your money ain't stretching from A to B. Because your kids are basically, we got to eat out, we got to have this and got to have, no. Get a job, earn your own money, you can eat whatever the freak you want. Till then, you're going to eat what's in here. If you don't want to eat, you starve. That's all to it. But I saw that nonsense, I told them, no. Tell them no. No, we ain't getting nothing for them, nothing, no. Got food in there, eat what's in the refrigerator. No, they're not my kids at the end of the day, but still, I ain't tolerating that nonsense. If I decide to marry this woman at the end of the day, I got to discipline these jokers at the end of the day. And we sure enough ain't doing no freaking eat whatever the freak you want at the end of the day. Whatever it is you make, you eat. If you don't want to eat it, then you just go hungry. That's all to it. Now, you got your own money, you got to make a little bread in your pocket at the end of the day, and guess what you start doing? You start buying your own stuff, but then you start paying some bills. Pick a bill, you ain't got to pay the whole thing, but you put some money on it. Or you're going to charge a little bit for rent. You're going to learn to pay that, because that teaches you at the end of the day, basically, how to pay your bills. That's what that teaches you. There's nothing in the world that's free. And when you turn 18, get the freak out. Yep, get the freak out at 18. Because you got no business being up under that roof unless you're going to college. You're going to college is expensive. The chances are some people ain't got enough room at home, barely enough for you when you go to college. It frees up a room for another person in the family, depends on how big the family is. Some people just get their own little spot at the end of the day. It depends on how they work it. But anyway, yeah, 18, get the freak out. I'll be darned if you're going to be up under our roof at the end of the day with freaking your wife and kids and all that. No. Doing that at all, period. Now, if he got special needs or something like that, yeah, then, I ain't got no problem. I got to take care of him. I ain't got no problem with that. But I want him to be independent. I do want him to be independent. I want him to be able to survive on his own. If I die, he should be able to survive on his own. I don't want to handicap him and give him an opportunity to try to live his life the best way he can. Other than that, if you're able and willing, then get the freak out. As a matter of fact, I'll be lifting weights until you turn 18. Like, how much you weigh again? Oh, okay. Well, I'm just practicing. I got a little dummy I'm practicing on the lawn, like, Hah! Back up. Hah! I told my ex about that. She was like, no, you're not. Yes, I am. And toss that sucker right on out. Bye. Tell you the same thing my mother told me. Now, mind you, I was in lockup at that time. But anyway, still, short-lived, man. I come home, do what I got to do. I got baptized, try to get my tree in order. And she said, well, you're going to have to go. You got to get your life together. And stayed for a little bit because she missed me. She didn't see me in a long time. And I stayed there for probably about 6 months. But even I knew at the end of the day I didn't want to be there anymore. I wanted my own at the end of the day. I wanted my own spot. I come from a family of 10 kids. And you always want your own. You want your own TV. You want everything your own, because you're used to sharing everything. So that's why I got out and got my own spot. But yeah. Yoink! Gotta go. And I love watching Dr. Phil, because these people come on air and they tolerate that bull crap at the end of the day. That one guy who said he was some kind of cyborg for another planet, freaking 20 years old, living up on this planet's roof. He's from the future, whatever. All right, future boy, guess what? Pack your bags. You gotta go. You ain't getting kicked out. Ain't no way you're gonna feed me some dumb nonsense like that. Some dumb stuff at the end of the day. I don't know how people tolerate this crap at the end of the day. How do you tolerate this nonsense? What was the other woman? The other woman married this guy, and for some reason he thought he was a superhero. You seen that one? He nearly started dressing like Batman. He was a superhero. At this particular point, we getting a divorce. We're done. I'm not going down the road. I'm not wasting any of my life with that madness. That was a crazy one right there. Other one was the woman who fell in love with some guy, some prince overseas, and she wanted to go see him. And she said, well, if it don't work out, my husband will still be there for him. And he sat there and said, well, I'll take her back. But I couldn't be friends with you. I couldn't. I had no respect for you. There's no way it would work. I couldn't be friends with you. Because, if you tell me something like that, like, yeah, when she comes back, I'm going to take her back. All right, Frank, bye. I got to go. Nice being friends with you, but I like to be around people who have a backbone. That's how it works for me. She's going to sleep with another man, and if it don't work out, she's going to come back to you, and you're going to welcome her with open arms. Okay. Cut that stuff. Clean off. Go on. I go down and file for divorce. Get myself a good lawyer. Should be open and shut. Should be no problem. And guess what? Skidoo-kadoo. She's gone. Take you back for what? Oh, you thought I was going to take you back? Oh, no. We're not doing that. No. You gotta go. No. They say, y'all take her back. I'm going to watch that episode again. That's just funny. Oh, and the one with 90 Day Fiance. 90 was the 90 Day Fiance? Caesar. She was the weeds. There are people like that really in life. There are people born, I hate to say it, but there are people that are designed to be suckers. They are. Designed to be manipulated for the world to take advantage of them. I hate to put it that way, but I had never seen anything until I saw Caesar on 90 Day Fiance. And he's perfect for catfishing. I hate to say it, but he is. He's a perfect candidate for catfishing. That girl ripped them off. I think the girl from the Ukraine. Is she Ukraine or she's from somewhere at the end of the day? And he fell in love with her. And he said he went to a special site where you can buy flowers and everything. For flowers, like $800 for flowers. Like all kinds of crazy stuff. He was sending her money. I think altogether he sent her like $4,000. No, it was $4,000. It was $40,000. He ended up sending it to her down through time. I'm like, she was Louise, people. We meant to be together. People that just with relationships, really? Seriously? Looking for love in all the wrong places. Jeez, man. It's sad. Well, even his buddy, he had a military buddy that was with him. And even he tried to talk him out of it a couple of times, and he didn't want to listen to him. And then when she stood him up in Mexico, and he was sitting there crying and bawling and all that other dumb nonsense, he tried to talk him out of it. Like, look, man, you just gave so much to this woman. She was using her. And then sure enough, she called him back, and he got to talking about, oh, she called me back, and we're in love, and we're going to get married, and this, that, and the other. I'm like, gee, Louise, man, seriously, dude. And the guy just looked at him and just shook his head. He was like, I'm done. I can't do this. Man. Looking for love in all the wrong places. I like when I get those messages. I get messages from women who'll contact me on Facebook and say, I just saw your profile and I thought we could talk. I want to meet somebody. It's called a front door. Go outside to a front door. There are people all over the place out there. Do you believe it or not? There's people out there. All over the place out there. You can just go over to them and have a conversation with them. And some will talk to you and some won't talk to you. But just go outside. At least you know exactly where you stand at instead of getting catfish. Like, you want to meet people, go outside and meet people. Meet somebody online, you know what the frick you might be getting yourself into. You could be he or she could be a serial killer. You don't know that. Maybe a serial killer, you meet him out there, but you see him face to face out there. You don't know what the freak you're talking to online. That's what a show called Catfish. You're getting catfish. Desperate because one got a bee to go down that road. Come on. That's almost as worse as I was watching the TLC. The guy was freaking in love with dolls. I'm done. They build me a rocket ship to get off this planet. He was in love with his dolls or something. There's another guy who was in love with his inflatable toys. Ooh, man. Can't make this up. Inflatable toys. Yeah. You can tell that something, I don't know, something tragic had to happen. But then again, some people didn't have anything tragic happen to them. It just clicked like that for them. I still think that's crazy. I'm sorry, but I think that's crazy. There's kind of mental illness going on with that right there. Yeah, definitely crazy. The woman that married, she married what? She married the Berlin, was it, what you want to call him? It was the Berlin Wall? I think it did. She married the Berlin Wall. She married the Berlin Wall. There are people that basically fall in love with objects. They fall in love with adamant objects. The guy who had a relationship with his car. She was. Can you imagine if this car got in a car accident? Oh man, that'd be. Dude, she's crying so hard for it. Where's my wife? So I just find that stuff interesting right there. Crazy. Where's the pen for this? Did you just drop the pen off when you just had the pen? And you really just dropped the pen? Oh, it's going to get there right there. Crazy. I just find that crazy, interesting and crazy at the same time. You're in love with an object. The guy who married his pillow, you know, ones that they're kind of Japanese anime, kind of little girls on them, whatever it is. Looks like a little girl to me. The guy who married himself, the guy who married his dog. I don't even know how that one even passed. Gotta build me a rocket ship, get off the planet. Off the planet. Anyway. I think they said one of the girls from My 600-Pound Life, the girls' original ones are on there, one of them passed away. One of them passed away. And she lost all that weight. She lost all that weight. They were on YouTube. They were doing some kind of bunny chubby something challenge where you put these marshmallows in your mouth. I remember, I think that's where I first saw them at. All that and that's up there. We're enjoying that off the chain. Chubby buddy, bubbly buddy, some kind of challenge they were doing, and that's how they got recognized. I'm gonna do the triangles on each side. That's one of the things the guys talked about when the giant bird was killing people. They didn't hear any type of wildlife, no deers, nothing. They couldn't find anything on the trail. That should have told you right there something's jacked up in the woods that's in there with you. You don't got nothing's coming up at all on the radar. Nothing. You haven't ran across any deers. Nothing at all. You can't find any deers or nothing at all, no wildlife. It's quiet. You need to get the freak out of the woods. Apparently you're not in there alone. And that's what comes from watching crazy paranoid movies like that. At the end of the day, why my family brings their cases. This is going all the way over. We didn't get that. We could have dropped that a little bit closer and could have got that. Man, I want to nudge that in there now. Alright, I can get that in there. I think our whatchamacallit worked out just fine. Next time, I'm buying the cardboard and I'm building it from scratch. It would have been so much easier to do it that way. This was so much harder to do. What time is that? I'll watch something on here. What's the controller? Well, sides are done. Let me see. Oh, this is my template. I'll use that. My template for my. Okay, so I'm going to do another one of those. Let's see. Like it's been thinking out here. Okay, this side's done, this side's done. This is done, done. Geez, that fought me a little bit. Just trim it nicely. Iron. Really? Again? Get over here. What do you think? Come on, man. It's not time to jerk around. I think it's done. Going out here, that's going out there. There's never end of this. Let me see. Right there. Should be a piece in there. Neatly, yes, sirree. All the sides are done. Nice and sturdy, got a nice sturdy feel to it. I'm going to get these bottom tabs. go. So I'm going to hit the power button. Right here, liquid cooling system here. Fan system here. GPU here for the enough room we're here to put a larger card or smaller card in. And then from here we have peripherals right there. So we can easily connect our power supply. Let me see. Let me lift this up. We got the 6V adapter is there. Okay, so on that side. So basically I'm going to have extenders running from here to here. They're going to lock here. So I'm going to put extenders here for everything that's going to connect here. Most everything on here is going to be basically all Bluetooth. So we're not going to be running keyboard and mouse, wireless, microphone system, wireless, all that stuff is going to be all wireless. The only thing that they're running is power supply. It's a power supply 6V right here. And then power supply, which is going to connect, you can't see it, but right there. And those are flats for the SATA outputs right there. So yeah, everything in there I need to have installed in there perfectly fine. And then like I said, there's extenders down here. It goes to all the peripherals right there, which will come out right from here to here. That's pretty much basic about it. So yeah, I want to see if I can do it. I got myself a nice hard drive cover for my system. Now we're going to build the base for it. I'm going to connect to the top of this. There's going to be another cardboard box at the bottom. And hook that up. And I'm going to make my own hard drive covers without spending $300 and $400 for those things. I think they're very expensive. And I want to see if I can do it. Now later on, because I know the blueprint and how to put all this together, the next stage would be basically is getting the cardboard itself, like the real thick cardboard. Later on for other projects, we'll be using this. This just gives you an idea. And that way I can build my box, put it the way I want to, double layer it, and take my saw system I have over there and cut all my ports in and be done from there. But we had to use the box just to get an idea on how to put it all together. So now this blueprint's in my head. I can just build it any way I want to, anytime I want. This is going to be using a micro ATX board, which you're going to be looking on here. Running through liquid cooling systems and all that stuff like that. Yeah, came out pretty nice. I don't think about exposing the RAM, but that's the whole point of covering everything up so you don't have to see the RAM and all that stuff. Now, this time on this one, we're going to make our own glow-in-the-dark sleeves, which is really easy to do. Just get some large tubing that's a little larger than the size you have there, and flush the tubing with UV glow-in-the-dark paint, and that's it. And all you have to do is run a little EL wire, blue lighting through it, and it just glows. Nice little trick on basically, instead of spending all this money for glow-in-the-dark cables and stuff, you can actually make your own glow-in-the-dark cables yourself. Just get some tubing and some EL wire and some UV glow. That's it. Make your own stuff. Hold on to these. These are the same size as an 80mm fan. It makes a great template. This is the template I need for my. Well, actually, the easier way to do it is just to punch the holes in the top and just draw a square from there. So you don't need that. Right. peachy. More peachy. And you got all this stuff tangled around here like this. Why? I couldn't see for some reason I don't know why with that PC over there, that thing gave me a really hard time getting the liquid cooling system to stay up there because it kept disconnecting itself and it kept coming loose. And I'm like, why is this thing keep coming loose? That one stayed. Once I mount that one in, that's not going anywhere. But this one gave me a really hard time. So I learned something new when I do those stand-up wall systems is to make sure that we have a bridge there somewhere. That's a bridge I put in there, put the silver around it so it matches the rest of the case. But that's a little ledge I put there so that can rest on top of there. I think that one's actually much more heavier than this one over here. Because that one right there gave me a bit of a hard way to go. So I had to detach it, put the bridge in, reattach it back on. So that's what I did with that one. So that was a little bit more of a challenge on that one. Caterpillar. I need a caterpillar. I need a bullfrog, and I need a butterfly for this side, and the butterfly, and I need a bullfrog for that over there. Definitely need a bullfrog. A bullfrog, a butterfly, and a giant caterpillar. Over there. That's what I need on that side. Still working on that over there. Still working on that over there. And that part finished done. Where in the world? Oh, it's right here. Okay, my thundercloud is supposed to be right. Cyberpunk. with me. Whew. So you think easier if I spray this, but I can't be around aerosol cans. Spray paint aerosol cans? Nah. That'll wreak havoc on me. But I'll get it painted by hand. It's a different process, it's a longer process, but yeah. It's just safer for me. Hmm. My back is killing me. But, you know, first, get it done. Get it done. Stand up and get this one done. Whew. I know my back's killing me a little bit, but just trying to get this done. A little bit of specks of paint on my pants, don't care. That's character. I really don't care. In the day, I like to dress the way I dress, keep it humble. There we go. Okay, so let's paint it. I think from now on, when I get people who want to comment and say nasty things, I'm going to post at the bottom, stop playing with the devil, seek and find God. That's what my Lord's telling me to say. And that's what I'm going with. So, you want to be leaving nasty comments, that's what I'm going to tell you. I'm putting you and the devil on blast, seek and find God. Stop playing with the devil. The Lord wants me to comment from now on. When people comment and say nasty things, that's all you say back to them. That's it. Seek and find God. Stop playing with the devil. Tubing edges around here. Tubing sheet. Alright, make sure it. How long are we on this thing? Wow, we're running that long? Moving this part? Whew. Nice. Alright, well, that's pretty much about it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for your time, and God bless.